Hello everyone, Excalibur of Excalibur's on Gaming here, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering What's the Combo? This time we're looking at a particular card. It is Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. Now, I refer to Kiki-Jiki as a she because most stories about women who are not so good looking and they look into a mirror, they break the mirror, that kind of thing. It's not anything to do with the fact that Kiki is an ugly little turdy goblin or anything like that. It's just that that's how I see it. Oh well, I may have just gotten myself into a bunch of hot water, but anyway, Kiki-Jiki is a very interesting card. She has haste, and when you tap her, you put a creature token into play. That's a copy of target non-legendary. That's a trigger. That's a keyword right there. Non-legendary creature you control. Not a keyword or trigger or anything like that in the game sense, but this is what you have to remember. That creature token has haste. Sacrifice it at the end of turn. Now it's a sacrifice. Kiki-Jiki works best with one card, and I have it right here. Thornbite Staff. Equipped creature has 2 tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and that can work. That can work very well. And whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, untap this creature. And whenever a shaman creature comes into play, you may attach Thornbite Staff to it. Kiki-Jiki is a shaman, so Thornbite Staff will immediately attach to her when she hits the battleground, which is battlefield, which is really, really good, because then we can start shenanigans. As long as we have a creature in play that we can copy, like one of these lovelies, and this one, there are going to be a couple that go infinite. Alright, so that's it. Things that go infinite with Kiki and Thornbite Staff are Goblin Sharpshooter, Triskelion, and you don't even need the Thornbite Staff to go infinite with the Zealous Conscripts. So let's start with the first and easiest one. It's also the most, well, it's not the most expensive, but it is expensive. So when Zealous Conscripts comes into play, gain control of target permanent until end of turn, untap it, and it gains haste. You play Zealous Conscripts, you untap Kiki-Jiki. Kiki-Jiki makes a copy of Zealous Conscripts, which creates a token of Zealous Conscripts, which untaps Kiki-Jiki, which creates another Zealous Conscripts, and so on and so forth until you have an infinite godzillion number of Zealous Conscripts and kill everybody. That's one way to completely make people not like you, and it's a fast way to take out the board. Now with Thornbite Staff and Kiki, it gets a little bit trickier. So say you have the Goblin Sharpshooter. Very inexpensive. So Kiki comes out, Thornbite Staff attaches to her, you put down Goblin Sharpshooter if you have 8 mana total. Or some way to get 8 mana. Or some way to get 2 goblins into play, like with Goblin Matron or something. Anyway, Kiki-Jiki makes a copy of Goblin Sharpshooter. Goblin Sharpshooter, the token, shows up. And then this Goblin Sharpshooter taps and destroys the token. The token taps and destroys the Goblin Sharpshooter. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Because this guy, if you just cast him, has summoning sickness, so you can't tap him. So the token, which has haste, you can tap him and kill the original. Then Kiki makes a copy. Well, Kiki untaps and the Goblin Sharpshooter copy untaps because whenever a creature dies, untap Goblin Sharpshooter. It deals 1 damage to target creature player. So you just keep doing this infinitely. Whenever the new token dies, Kiki and Goblin Sharpshooter both untap, and then you just rinse and repeat over and over and over and over and over again. Really, really awesome. Now you can speed things up a bit if you have Stalking Vengeance in play and any tokens that are going away. And that's where Ashnod's Altar comes into play. And we'll move the Goblin Sharpshooter here. There we go. Ashnod's Altar and Friction Altar. You can get infinite mana by sacking your creatures that you create. And Stalking Vengeance does the damage. So whenever another creature you control dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target player. So Kiki taps, makes a copy of Stalking Vengeance. Sacrifice Stalking Vengeance to one of your sacrifice outlets, and whenever another creature you control dies, it deals damage target creature player. So your token is going to ping somebody for 5. Do that 50 times, 100 times, however many times it takes to kill off all your opponents. That works very, very well. Now, with every single one, these 2 cards work beautifully, and we're going to move Triskelion because Triskelion is awesome too. So these 2 cards and this card, they all do damage when a creature enters the battlefield. So Warstorm Surge, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So anything like Zealous Conscripts, you don't even have to attack, you infinitely kill with this. Same thing with Goblin Sharpshooter. Same thing with Stalking Vengeance or Kiki-Jiki and the Sacrifice Outlet with Thorn by Staff. You just completely and utterly blow things up. With Perforos, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Perforos deals 2 damage to each opponent. So this goes hand in hand. Scourge of Valkus. You don't copy Perforos. It's like an enchantment. Just sit out there and blow things up. Scourge of Valkus does dragons, and he is not legendary, so you can make an infinite number of dragons with this setup right here. So that's infinite damage from pinging from these 3, and infinite damage from sacking or killing from that. Triskelion is a really cool one. You make a copy of Triskelion, and then you remove all but one of its +1/+1 counters, pinging your opponent, and then the last +1/+1 counter pings itself, and it dies. Then Kiki-Jiki makes another copy of Triskelion, because the Thorn by Staff untaps Kiki-Jiki. And then you do enters battlefield with 3, so it goes 2/2 kill, 1 kill itself. Kiki-Jiki untaps. 2/2 kill, tap, kill itself. So that's another one of those pingers that you can use. Emrakul's Hatcher. When Emrakul's Hatcher enters the battlefield, put 3 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens onto the battlefield. They have sacrificed this creature, add 1 to your mana pool. So, first thing you can do is you can have Perforos out. You can have a bunch of other things. Goblin Sharpshooter, Kiki, and Thorn by Staff, they work. But you can just sacrifice 1 of these for infinite mana. And we'll get these 2 out of the way. They're good, but you don't need them after you get Emrakul's Hatcher out. So Kiki makes a copy of Emrakul's Hatcher, which comes into play, and you put 3 tokens. So you sacrifice one of the tokens for 1 mana, which untaps Kiki. And then infinite death, infinite damage because of the sacrifice. And that's pretty much what Stalking Vengeance does. So you keep making copies of Emrakul's Hatcher, and if you have Stalking Vengeance and Warstorm Surge, Perforos on play, these are going to wreak havoc all over the place. Now, Vicious Shadows. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, you may have Vicious Shadows deal damage to target player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. As long as players have cards in hand, this is just like Warstorm Surge, but it's in the removal section like Stalking Vengeance. Splinter Twin is another good one. It makes a copy of Kiki, which causes things to blow up and all that. But with Splinter Twin, Kiki, and Thorn by Staff, you tap Kiki to make a copy of herself. And you have to have like Stalking Vengeance and one of these other enter the battlefield things on to play. But the token comes out and it goes, oh no, there's a legendary. So you have it get destroyed. Kiki untaps, and then you tap her again with the Splinter Twin ability. So now Splinter Twin is creating copies of Kiki herself, and you're using Moorstorm Surge and Perforos and Stalking Vengeance to completely obliterate the board. Also, Splinter Twin works great with Zealous Conscripts and Goblin Sharpshooter. So, but that's just infinite with Goblin Sharpshooter, and you have Splinter Twin. It's got an infinite number of deaths, which is good for Stalking Vengeance, and it's good for, well, this is like Kiki. Anything that causes stuff to enter the board, this is going to enable, and Thornbite Staff is going to be able to untap it, but Goblin Sharpshooter untaps by himself when something dies. So he taps to create a copy. It can't tap because of issues. That's right. You can't go infinite with Goblin Sharpshooter because even though it can tap to create a copy of itself, it can't do anything else. So you've got to have something that kills those off. But Zealous Conscripts will target, its copy will target itself. It's original. So Zealous Conscripts will tap, create a copy of Zealous Conscripts, which untaps the original, which taps to create a copy, which untaps, and so on and so forth, until you have a bajillion Zealous Conscripts in play. That works perfectly well. Now, Forgeborn Oreeds, or Oreds, or however you want to pronounce it. These guys, whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Now, with this, you need to have this and, say, Phyrexian Altar or Ashnod's Altar to sack, or some other way to do damage or to remove cards. But what you'll do is you've got Phyrexian Altar, you cast Forgeborn Orids and kill, ping something. Then you tap Kiki to make a copy, and you do it twice because they're 2 copies. It does it once for itself as it hits the battlefield, and then this one kicks off as well. And then you sack the token, which untaps Kiki, and then you do it again and again and again. Rinse and repeat ad nauseum infinitum. So there you have it. There are a lot more things that you can do with Kiki-Jiki, and I just went over a few of the red options. She's known as Kiki-Jiki combo breaker for a reason, because a lot of things can combo off with her, and I really really dislike the combo breaker version, but I do have a commander deck, which there will be commander deck tech coming up. She is the general, and I have a lot of enter the battlefield and leave the battlefield cards in there, mainly enter the battlefield, and it's pretty deadly. I've gotten the Zealous Conscripts combo to go off twice in the deck, and Triskelion to go off once. But for the most part, I rely on things like, like the Goblin Sharpshooter. I rarely, if ever, go infinite with Kiki, but I can do a lot of damage with things that synergize with her a lot. Like there's a card that causes the opponent to shuffle up his deck. To randomly pick a card in front of him and sacrifice it. If it's a land, he stops. Otherwise, he keeps going. And I use it against a couple of people, sometimes upwards of 7 times in a row, with all the shenanigans I can do. And if I have Ashnod's Altar in play, I can just keep doing it for as long as I want, because Kiki will untap, and I can get rid of people's board states and stuff like that. It's a really scary thing. So that is it for this What's the Combo. Until next time, enjoy playing games, enjoy playing Magic the Gathering. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. It really helps me to see who's liking what and favoriting and everything, so that I can take a look at those videos and say, hey, this is what I did in this video and I don't do it anywhere else, but a lot of people liked it. Maybe I can adjust my videos to get more of that in there. Or maybe people like this content a lot better than the other content I put out, so I'm going to go ahead and look at increasing this content a bit more. If you could please take the time and visit www.patreon.com/ExcaliburZone and become a patron. $1 a month, just $1 a month, donated to me through Patreon to support me. not only supports me, it supports a whole bunch of people, because half of my net proceeds from Patreon goes to charity. Um, and that's really, really important for me, that I help other people out. It's a really cool thing to be able to um, help parents stay in a hotel near an expensive hospital that their child has to go to with Ronald McDonald Charities, or you fund Big Brothers Big Sisters, so kids have role models to look up to if they have issues at home, or if they don't have siblings or anything like that. It really, really helps if I could just get $1 extra a month from people. That'd be awesome if you supported me. And on top of that, if you support me, you're getting stuff for yourself too, because there are rewards there, and that's cool and everything. But I also put out more content, and the more I get patrons, the more content and time I can put into the channel, and the more entertainment you get, the more information you get, and everybody is a winner in the end. As always, this is Excalibur, and I am out.